begin. Okay, see if we can figure this out. Hey guys, Daniel James here. And today, what we're going to be doing is taking a look at Novo, which is Heavyocity's new string library. First of all, let me just say hello to everybody. I haven't done this for a while. The whole live stream thing. Did I even turn my mic on? Who knows? Who knows? Is my mic on? Let me know in the chat room if my microphone is on. Because I kind of forgot how to do all this. So everybody's in. Everybody's ready for some Novo. I just finished my coffee. That was a bad idea. Okay. So for those of you who are not sure what Novo is, I'm going to go into it all today. But essentially, Heavyocity went away. And for those of you who don't know Heavyocity, you know, they did things like Damage. And did Heavyocity do the Evolve? I think they did. You know, so they're basically a company known for big percussive sound design, sample libraries. One could even say a competitor, but I don't consider them as such because, you know, they're so unique. That's the good thing about sound design, is it's very unique to the people who actually do it. I sound very different to Heavyocity, who sounds very different to like the Unfinished, for example. We all have our own different things. Anyway, so what they did is they took all of that Damage money that they made, and they went off and recorded a string ensemble. Well, they didn't record ensemble; they went and recorded string sections, and then they took those strings, and instead of just giving them to you like normal, they also went and designed a string, I don't know, sound design interface with which one can create some interesting, unique textures. But that's enough of me rambling. Let's see if we can get onto the thing. So yeah, as you can see, we're going to be using Cubase because, yeah, okay. So let's have a look. Oh yeah, they made Gravity as well. My memory is not too good. I just woke up. Anyway, so this is Novo. Let's bring it up. So when you get the library, you get two separate folders. You get Traditional and Evolved. Now, so when it comes to traditional strings, there is some fierce competition out there. So I'm going to show the library and try not to, say whether or not. In fact, no, I'll say. I don't want to spend too much time discussing whether or not it's better than library X, Y, or Z, because I almost consider the traditional elements of this library as a bonus. And you'll see why when we get to the other side of the library. So yeah, if we take a quick look at the interface before I play any sounds. So as you can see, you get your not trademark, but your signature Heavyocity wheel in the middle. Now this one is actually controlling dynamics on this one. It used to control the punish knob or the twist knob, depending on which library you used before. Your articulations are along the top here. So you get spiccato, pizzicato, tremolo, legato, and longs. So I'm on the violin patch, by the way, at the minute. They went and did the mic positions, which is good. That's one thing you need. And then, of course, you have your envelope, your EQ, your filter, your mix, that's the strings, your performance, and your space. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to play around with it for a little bit, if you guys don't mind. So we've got like the strings here. So I've turned off my reverb for a change. Look, I'll just show you that on the side there. Look, I've turned it off. It's off. So don't have a go at me like you always do, you bastards. Now, the first thing I noticed about this library is it's very dry. So a lot of libraries have tone baked in. Now, there is some tone there, but it seems as though a lot of it is going to be, if I turn the reverb that they have on off, it's a very dry library. So its application for a lot of film score things in a traditional sense is going to vary depending on the composer. For example, like each string library that I have does something slightly different, So I have some libraries that are particularly good at doing, the Hollywood tone, straight out the box. I've got other ones which are great at doing like short, sharp articulations. Now this one is very clean. So this one particularly will work on like the pop style productions, I can imagine. I'm going to put my reverb on. I'm sorry, guys, but so this is the difference my reverb's making. Just so you're aware. Also, I'm trying to get through the library like in a kind of linear sense because I know I tend to go off track. But one thing I did notice, and this is a cardinal sin, so if there's any string producers out there, if you have spiccatos, have it more velocity based. I mean, I know I can, but if I was, yeah. By that I mean like, so you hit it hard, you get the hardest, and you hit soft, and you see we're still kind of getting an MF from that. If I want like a PPP, I have to bring the mod wheel down. So, I mean, it kind of makes sense. So this is just the strings outright. So let's have a listen to how their legato works. I'm going to put their reverb back to what it was. And I'm actually going to go here. So you can see this has the snapshot wave set. So they have different EQ settings. So there's the bright version. Here's the muted. Let's have a listen to the full mix. So I, like most of the time, not most of the time, but a lot of the time, I end up working on portable rigs, as a lot of you saw over the past year. So I would probably use this low disk version, which is using, let's have a look how much this is using. So this is 100 megabytes. In fact, let's have a quick, oh, wait, I need to go back to snapshots. Let me have a quick look at the default. Let's try. So the close mic sounds like. Put the legato on. I'm going to take off my reverb for a second. Just. So that's just the close mic. Let's have a listen to the room mic. And the hall. And you put them together. So let's have a look. So you see, like, you can mess with the mic positions, but they all sound pretty dry. So I would probably just whack it on the full mix. So let's have a go at the tremolos. Oh, this was one thing about the legato. So you can have two voice. And I believe this means you can. which always seems a bit, I think that just means that you can. Yeah, it's a bit tricky, so you have to be careful how you actually hit the notes, because sometimes it will think that you're trying to do a legato transition with a note, but instead, like, so say I'm holding like a G chord and I try and, move the, I'm transposed, but I'm trying to do like a G minor chord and I move the G down to an F and then the B flat down to an A. It might think that I want the F to be an A, not the B flat to be an A, because, I'd have to push them at the same time. So you have to be a bit tricky with that. By the way, these are on key switches. They're up at G6. I'm just, G6? That's a song, right? Anyway, so let's have a listen to the tremolos. By the way, if you're wondering why there's a bit of a smear, it's because I always hold down the sustain pedal when I change chords. Which can be, which can kind of go a bit too far. By the way, I don't know if you've noticed, but like I'm pretty much blending in with the background because the sun is so bright here in Los Angeles. I've tried my best to deal with it, but unfortunately, we'll just have to put up with that for now. Okay, let's have a quick look. So spiccato. So we've got the things. So as you can see, it's doing a round robin. So, we come in here and let's have a look at a programmed version. Let's just move this out of the way for now. So let's do like your typical. Let's do like the typical 3+3+2 thing, like that. And then we'll do like a. And then we'll go like, I don't know. We'll do like just a little pan. Turn these down a little bit. Just give this a go. That's cool. So one of the things they add here in the space, you got things like delay. And this was one thing I was going to mention a bit later on, but I'll carry on to, is I don't consider this library one of my go-to string libraries by itself. It's my go-to sound design string library. So if I'm doing a sci-fi score, if I'm doing some, trailer music where I need it to be different, I don't want, like, you can have orchestra in like big trailer hybrid scores, but sometimes you want something that's a bit more set for that, and that's this. So like things like delay are actually usable here. So let's put this on like 3/16, wherever that is. Oh, no, not 3/32s. Where is it? There it is. So we'll put that on. And that's awesome. Like, I don't know if that's one of the things about different libraries, that you kind of have to use them for their strengths. So Heavyocity is definitely at the forefront when it comes to sound design with these things. Let's try it with pizzicato. Which, I mean, this would work with. So you see, like something like that, which is a simple pattern. I mean, like you can see it down here. I'm not doing anything fancy. It's just like 3+3+2. And then on the accents, I'm putting like a little pattern. And then I'm doing a 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2. So you do something like that, which has enough rhythmic interest. You throw on a delay. Okay. So that's cool. So right, let's try this. Right, so I'm just gonna program. Let's put some spiccatos down, and we'll just go. I know, simple chord progression, whatever. Right, so let's put that on, and then let's. What I want to do now is I want to come over here to the performance section. So you see they've got a gate and an ARP. Always useful features. So we're going to throw on the ARP for now. So your typical. Let me just make all these endings fixed lengths. Go over there. I'm just going to make these like solid. So there we go. I'm going to put these at the top like this, and then I'm going to make it so that we have. Let's double down on that. Okay, so we'll put in a. Okay, let's take this top line, put it down at the bottom as well. So we have 4 parts. Right, okay. So far, not very interesting. But one of the cool things they have is they have pairs up and down in their articulation. So if I throw this on 16ths and just keep it on, like most of you've heard, like the down. Okay, hang on. I need to just shorten the lengths of these a bit because it's tripping itself up. Okay, it's getting a little bit confused, so we need to give it some help. I'm just going to move this in, move these top lines in so that it knows to start with the top line. At least I hope that works. Missed that one. So I'm not sure why that's doing that, but anyway. So we've got that on 16ths. But now if we go to pairs down, what it'll do is it goes. Now that may not sound too important, but if you look down at the keys at the bottom here, this can create some interesting rhythmic textures that usually arpeggiators don't do. And I actually love that this is a thing now. So like, let's say I hold 8 keys. Let's do like 2 B flats with an A on one side. No, sorry, an F at the top and an A in the bottom. So if you look, I'm just holding the sustain pedal down now. If I throw some delay on that. So to figure out what it's doing, if I hold 4, I'm just going to turn the delay off. So it's going the top 2, then the bottom 2. So if you're holding like just a shit ton of keys, you get these crazy, weird, interconnected textures, which I actually really, really like. I'm going to try it with pizzicato. In fact, let's try it with. Okay, that sounds kind of awful when I do it like that, but it did work. Okay, so that's just the violins. So let's move on to a different instrument. So let's throw in the violas. So violas are like big violins. Okay, I take back what I said earlier. Okay, so I actually made a mistake earlier. I said you couldn't do the velocity. Then I realized that I didn't have it switched on. So I'm an idiot, but we fixed it. It's okay. So you put the mod wheel at the top. It's no longer a cardinal sin. So now we can do the... we'll do like some weird... dum, dum. But we'll make it so that these are a bit softer. you know, like, and we'll do it so we'll do it like that, and then we'll go to, oops, just half time that a bit. See, this is so much quicker than Ableton Live. Anyway. If I want to loop it. So we do like an 8th pattern here. Triplets always make it feel like a dub. So you can change your round robins up here, by the way, so you can have like just between the two or just individual ones if you want the same one to be hitting. But why you would want that, who knows? Anyway, so legato. I've still got delay on, sorry. So let's have a look at the different halls. So, you know, they give you a few different, I imagine, convolution reverb. So let's put it in a large hall this time. And turn this mix way up. You know, so you can create some, you know, interesting spaces. I prefer to use external reverb. So those dynamics go down nice and low. Let's actually change it so the dynamics don't go past like an M. In fact, let's keep them down at P. Fuck, wrong one. There we go. Keep them down here. Anyway, so, you know, we've got the same articulations that we do in the other one. So we've got some tremolo. So I'm going to throw some my reverb on. Or some really creative black hole reverb. That's cool. That's the violas. So a lot of these are the same in terms of like their UI. One thing I haven't shown so far is, so obviously you get like your EQ stuff. This is the cellos. So this is just the longs, you know. So this is. We've got a little bit of a boost going on here at the top. And that doesn't seem to be changing anything. So what have I? All right, it's because we're not on a full mic, so I have to link. So this is something about the UI that's worth mentioning here, because you'll see me do it a few times. So if you look here, you see this is full, is selected here, and then you'll notice that we're not actually using the full mic. So these EQs by default are set up to control the full mic, which may be a little bit of an oversight, because a lot of people will be like, why ain't it working? Fucking shit. Paid all this money and the EQ doesn't fucking work. There'll be one or two people like that. So what you want to make sure is that you're actually adjusting the mic. So this is cool. This actually allows you to edit the EQ of each individual mic. So say I wanted just like the hall mic to have like extra. Like I wanted for some reason the hall to have an extra high EQ, Put on some of my own reverb for now. That's a bit too much reverb. God, I need to move that up. There we go. So as you can hear, very, very, very dry. But I actually like it. Actually, we need to be like an octave down for that. How's that go? Oh yeah, I'm in the wrong key, sorry. I was messing myself up. So as you can tell, like these all have like the same basic principle, the same kind of. So let's have a look at the little filter here. Again, the same thing. So I wanted to have like a low pass. If you wanted to do something weird and crazy with it, you have the option to. I probably wouldn't use the filter that much, to be honest, unless I was trying to cut something out. This, however, I would use. Well, let's look at the spiccatos first, actually. Okay, so this is something I need to program in, really. So let's do a quick little pattern. And what did we have? We had it set of fourths. So these are the cello spiccatos. So we'll go dun, 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 dun. So these are our accents. We'll have these super loud. And then, so we'll have do like just a straight rhythm to begin with. So, like, let's just bring that down to like 100. So, you know, like, then we'll have a kind of a bit of a pattern going on here. I'm just going to turn these down. And then, so that would be like that, I suppose. By the way, this is one of the reasons I moved to Cubase. Watch. Oh, look at that. Look at that. I can actually adjust it, but keep the ratio. Beautiful. So this is just like the cellos. How high can we go? We're pretty much there at the moment. So and the cool thing is let's say that like I had a scene that was a while long and I just wanted to kind of maintain this pattern for a while. So I called it a bad thing earlier, but because I just realized that the velocity is actually controllable. So let's say that we want the velocity to be able to go all the way down to 0, right? So that's with the mod wheel down. So, you know, we don't actually, like, we can actually put in mod wheel data like this and control it. So it's like. So let's try changing the bow into just down. So you see, that's kind of cool. I like that. Okay, so that's what the spiccato sound like. Let's try that same pattern with pizzicato. Let's put some delay in there just for fun. Now, one of the cool things we can do there, for example, let's try the bass, being as though we've got it for now. Let's bring up. So we'll get this playing. Oh wait, we move keys there. Let's finish with the cellos before I get onto that bass. Okay, so this was something that wasn't mentioned on the other one. So in the cellos and the basses, we actually have a few extra articulations. So we have, for example, clusters. Oh, down a bit lower. I'm on the wrong fucking thing. Where am I? Where are my keys? Where are my keys? What am I doing? There we are, down there. And the cool thing about these is they're mod wheel controllable. So, you know, you got your horror scene. Getting more intense. Back, so like, you know, and we can layer that with, you know, like the same thing in the bass. So we play these two together. So you see, you can layer them together for some funness. Some funness. Okay, so that's the basic of the cello. I'm just want to quickly, let me just get rid of the bass for now. Go away. So there is an envelope control. So you may notice that the legatos, for example, are a bit aggressive. So you can control. Well, not like that, you can't. But like, so say you got the longs, right? The attack's pretty much there. So I wanted to do some kind of chordal things. The attack's there. So if I whack this on envelope, and then give it a longer release. Now I can kind of pad it out. See, it's much more of a tone. Anyway, so you can adjust the envelope like that if you wanted to do something along those lines. Right, let's take a quick listen to the bass. By the way, just as I mentioned at the beginning, I consider this part of the library the bonus part. We're getting to the meaty stuff in a second. So now, the bass is one I'm not a huge fan of. I mean, it's a bit buzzy. It does go down nice and low. And it sounds a little bit synthy, but you will see later that's not necessarily a bad thing. We'll get onto that in a minute. Legato, your tremolos. Tremolos are cool. It's going to be so messy. Kind of cool. Put it all the way down. Pizzicato, obviously. Kind of cool. So we got sans poids. So these are it's kind of like behind the bridge or something, right? I don't know what it means, but it sounds like it's played with a lot more kind of air. It's more of a horror technique, it sounds like. And of course, we've got the clusters, which we showed earlier. So you've got plenty of extended techniques for your and some pizzicato clusters. Not much use for me there, but Anyway, so these are cool, right? So then, of course, you know, so they're your basic sections. So you've got, if you don't have any other string libraries, there are other options out there for your organic, but stay with me, stay with me. Even though those sounds may not be what everybody considers, you know, like I say, there's a lot of competition, a lot of stiff competition for what is the go-to string library, right? But this is modern strings. So anyway, let's go through the extended techniques, which you actually get included. And again, these are awesome. So this is sulpo, which is close to the bridge, but still on the string. Thank you for that. So these are awesome sounding. So I'm just going to bring these down. By the way, this does have expression. So, you know, if you want to keep it there, you can control expression as well, which isn't moving the dynamics. You know, this is one of those pad layers that, you know, I will do this with. You know, so it's a bit loud there, so we'll bring it down a bit more. You see, just kind of echoes in the background. Yeah, you got those. Right, anyway, so that's sulpo in octaves. Then we have sulpo bends. These are more of a horror thing. So that's awesome, you know. How low do we go? We go down to an F here. No, G. Oh, wait, no. Now, this is sulpo PLS, which to me means please, but I imagine that's not what it means. Might mean pulse. Sounds about right. I usually like to hold one note. So that's a pulse, you know, so it feels like, which is cool. So we got sulpo trems. Oh, these are beautiful. Oh, it just glistens. Sorry, it's a bad habit of mine. Just have to do it. Sorry. I know. You can hear how that glistens. I love that so much. Right, let's go back up here. So Sordino bends rather. It's like a muted bend. They all float down here, Georgie. They all float. They all float. So cold leg, no. So as you can tell, more of a horror type, lots of squeals and squeaks. And then, of course, harmonics, which is one of my favorites. Harmonics, I love to just glisten up at the top like that, you know? What's the one I always play? Beautiful, beautiful. So they're our high ensemble textures. And now we have the low ensemble. So let's just replace these. So the low ensemble, so we get Mercato, which is... Let's go down a notch. So that's what you use Mercato for, you know, like you dun 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 dun. Dun. So that's what you'd use the Mercatos for. These are, you know, nice and strong. So this I like. Then we have staccato, which is like the... And then like the higher you get, the more awkward it becomes. What was that? You know, so you get those kinds of... So now we're on spiccato, so we already have a spiccato thing loaded in back here. just close mics. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of delay on it. You know, get it nice and groovy. But then I'm going to come to performance. I'm going to turn on the gate. Now we're going to put it in triplets, if we can. So you can see there's a gate mixed in with the ARP. So all you have to do is, you know, click and turn it on. So that's a cool, fun thing. Okay, so that covers the basic traditional part of the library. Now we're going to move into the bit that I got so excited about on Twitter, and that is the string designer. So how do we describe the string designer? So essentially it is, think like how Gravity was, how you had multiple layers multiple layers of sounds, and then you had all your effects and stuff. But what we have in this one, you can see we have a cool macro control. So watch, as I turn this up, it's manipulating certain functions here. So now we have a drive, a gate, a space, filter. They're all the same, but we have like some cycle and we have our 3 sounds. So these are your 3 sounds. They don't have to be bass, middle, high, but it makes sense to do it that way. So if I just like play a couple of keys. First off, wow. Now let's just move up this wheel. So let's just go through a few of the presets first of all. Let's do that first, because you know, let's see what they provided, and then we'll go into what we can do with it. Is my horn still going? Shh. There we go. So you see this one, the macro control is actually doing its own thing. Or at least it was. There we go. Okay, that one was a bit quiet, but... Who else is hearing those pizzicatos? Right, so those are cool little things. I'm just going at random. I don't know what any of these sound like. In fact, I'm just going to try something. Let's pull in the violin section. Just so this one's doing its own thing. So expression doesn't work on this one, which is a shame, because it means I have to use the volume CC to turn it down a bit. So that's got its own thing going on. So now we're on the violin. Okay, I'm actually gonna change this to more of a synthy sound with the envelope. So I'm gonna move it onto envelope. I'm gonna make the attack quite slow and the release suitably long. So I can in fact I want the muted. Yeah. So I just have to set that up again. Oh, CPU had a bit of a moment. Okay. By the way, the CPU usage isn't super high. It's more that my okay, calm down. Calm down. There we go. Oh, did I push play? I think I pushed play. Yeah, that would have messed it up. Let's try it again. See, so like now I can play over the top of that and get ideas, you know. So you can play over things, which I like doing, but yeah, moving to the longs again. So do you see now what I mean when I got all excited on Twitter about vibe? That is the definition of vibe. So this is doing something that you can't usually do with a string library. It's vibe. So, you know, with conventional organic string libraries, you're left to, essentially just write orchestral styles with it, unless you want to do a lot of post processing. But finding the right combination of effects that you can kind of macro together to give like an evolving texture. You could use something like a synth, like an omnisphere or something, but this is all designed for you with all the articulations you need in order to do it. I mean, there's a famous, saying that you can make any synth sound with any synth. It's just how hard is it to get to what you want. We already did this one. All right, so let's go to dirty and distorted. Adrenalizer. So yes, like this is a comparison that's going to come up with a lot because it's worth mentioning that Novo is not a cheap library. And I think rightfully so, because, you're getting all the string library, but like I mentioned, you can make pretty much any sound with any kind of instrument. Given enough time, I could make this with things I have already. However, if I want a sound like that, this is set up for me to do that. And that's where this thing earns its money. And what we'll do now is I'm just going to quickly dive into why this makes it easy. So first of all, let's take a look at this macro controller. Having these things like these effects set up the way they are currently. Do they have a preset? They do. So this is just your basic preset. So you can see like this says all macros off, but they're actually all on. They lied. But okay, so you can see, first off, all the controls are set up to macros. That may seem insignificant, but let's go into why that's important. So this gives us control to our drive, our gate, our space, filter, EQ, and envelope, right? So let's say we wanted like a chop sound. So you can, if you look up here, we have 3 sounds. So this is going to be channel 1. It should really mention that's, oh, it does. Okay, there we go. So this is channel 1, this is channel 2, this is channel 3. And like I mentioned, you're only working on the one that you actually click on, right? So let's turn on channel 2, because we're kind of playing in the mid-range, which is where this is. So channel 2, and let's just turn on the gate on that. See, if I turn that off, it's not doing anything. Let's make it so that only the middle one's on. Okay, why is that not working? Technically, that should be off. I don't know why that's still on, but okay. Tell you what, I'm not going to use this in it. It looks broken. So let's go to one where it's actually set up properly. So let's go to like just this one in the middle for now. So let's put on the gate. All right, so we're on channel 2. Should slowly turn the gate off, or at least reduce the amount of it. Put on the drive as well, why not? So you can see with these arrows here, you can actually increase and decrease the amount of macro control. So you see the little, so this is reducing the sample rate, slowly increasing. So all these things are increasing over it, you hear that? And now it's going to slowly come back down by itself, I hope. There we go. And for some reason, this gate isn't turning off like I kind of expected it to. You see, because that's at 0. Unless I am being a fool. Okay, I'm not sure why the gate is still on there. Maybe that's a bug. You hear the gate still on? There's nothing that... Let me try change it to a different... It might be the sound. So let's change this to a long. Yeah, that definitely shouldn't still be on. Oh, shit. Okay, yeah, it should. I take that back. So you see the amount. Okay, that was my bad. So this controls the overall gate amount, and this controls how much of the amount is in the gate. I take it back. I fuck up. It happens. Deal with it. So look, as this turns up, the gate comes in. There we go. That's much better. I apologize. Now you see, I actually reversed it. So if I turn this back. And that slowly fades away. So we're just on the... So, oh yeah, let me explain what I did there. So, sorry, I thought it was broken, but it was me being an idiot. Okay, so what I'm going to do is you see this macro controller is controlling itself at the minute. I'm going to turn that off, but it'll be a good opportunity to show you how that works. So at the minute, we're only listening to the middle voice. So macro sequence, right? This controls... This is a sequencer for this dial. So if I turn this off, you see now it's just mod wheel controlled. So I have the option, should I desire to do it, to have the gate come in like this. With my mod wheel. You see? And it's all the way. Let's say I only wanted it to be subtle though. Let's go to the gate and let's come down to the amount. I apologize for fucking that up the first time. And let's say we wanted that to be only, like even at its maximum, it only goes to, 10 o'clock. So at its maximum, it should only go to 10 o'clock. So it should be a subtle gate. See, so let's pull that back. So that's it at its maximum. For some reason, I was messing around with the gate. So let's put this back. Let's keep this. Let's turn this off. So. See, now there's just a subtle gate. And I don't know if any of you have noticed this, but I am using the organic sound source. So the way to change it is you come up here. So I've turned the macro off for now. Like, as I explained, if that's on by itself, that means it's controlling its own. If I wanted it to be like rhythmic, I could do that. Let's change this down actually. So let's say we would just like 8 steps. We go ba 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 ba. We could have our effects. So, so in like a weird triplety type pattern. So let's put this up to a 16th. So you see this is... Or if we wanted it to just be on, off. If you wanted to do something crazy with it. But for now, we're just going to have that switched off, okay? And what you may have noticed is that the actual sound source I was using was the clean, organic sounds, the traditional sounds that I was talking about. So at the beginning, I said that while this may not be my go-to organic string library. I consider them a bonus, but where they make their worth is you can use them as sound sources now. So like, for example, like the violin tremolo, which sounds like this. Let's put on auto. Play, damn you. Okay, or not. Fine, don't play. Don't play. Let's see what happens. So let's load that in. So now it's the tremolo. So let's have a look at what the EQ is doing. We're on channel 2. So look, the higher up I go, look, we're getting this weird thing. So let's say we wanted like a real big boost at the top. We're getting a high. So we're really opening. I'm just going to turn the drive off of this one. So we can mess with the EQ. So we're getting at the top end of our EQ here. But let's say we also want it over time to actually go like further up. So we get like a sweep as we go up. And let's have our middle do the same. So we'll have it start lower. We'll do like basically a notch sweep like this. So let's have it at its base going down to there, and at its peak up to there. So you see, look, now we've got a middle peak, middle notch going across, which means we can, you get a kind of, and this is just using the tremolo. So as you can see up here, we've got the pan doing the same thing. So this is going to pan at bottom of the mod wheel. It's going to be on the right. And when I have it all the way up to the top. So what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to have it be centered and then be on the right, for example, when the mod wheel's all the way up. In fact, no, let's have it like on the left. And then when it's all the way up, it's in the center. So it's like, so now it's in the middle when everything's on. So on our filter, let's do the same thing. So we've got a low pass sweep, slightly, so that it kind of opens up with it. So as we move the mod wheel up, you see the cutoff opens. So we actually want that to go all the way open. And we're also going to have it so that the delay amount comes way up and it actually goes super wide. Fuck it, the feedback goes up as well. So all the delays. Let's not actually not have the feedback go up that high. Okay, so there's our middle voice, okay? Now let's add in another layer. So now we're going to add in this top layer here, the haunted clouds. So our tremolo is still in there, but I'm going to turn that all the way off for now. So we're just listening to the haunted clouds at the minute, this top one. Now, what I'm actually going to do now is I'm going to change this up a little bit. So you see the source down here. We have channel 1, channel 2, channel 3. At the minute, they're linked. So I'm just going to unlink these. And what that allows me to do is have it so that this high channel 3 only plays in the higher keys. So if I play here, you see this dot, like nothing. So now I can... Okay. So let's make this, I'm going to make this so it's a high note. So we'll keep it violin. In fact, no, let's go with a loop, a random ambient loop. Let's have a listen. No. Oh, no, that's right. So you see, oh, I'm browsing number 2. Okay, I forgot. Sorry, I take it back. Let's change that back to tremolo like it was. Load. Let's go to channel 3. Here we go. So let's change this to a loop, a high motif. So there's lots of things going on there. So we'll choose that, right? So now we've got... Okay, so we've got that going on. But what we're going to do is we're going to come over here to the cycle part. We're going to put it on channel 3. So you can see what's actually happening is our start time is being randomized. So every time it kind of triggers, you see it's re-triggering. What we can do is set the start time to 0 and to put the randomize to 0. We can turn this off. There we go. So it'll just play, right? If that's what we wanted. But what we're going to do is we're going to turn on the cycle, right? So this is basically cycling. And it's cycling at a rate of 32s, which means that it's basically re-triggering. Okay? And at the minute, we've got like our steps down at the bottom here. And what we can actually do, let's put it to 8 steps for now. What we can actually do, so you see, it's traveling through those at 16ths. We can actually turn on start time. So what we can do is we can have it, so we'll start at 0 and then we'll go up there somewhere and then up a bit further, and then here, then there, then there, then there, all the way up. Now if we play it. So you see, it's actually cutting through the loop, almost like a granular synth. Like if we go super quick, you kind of get a granular sense of it, right? So we have it go at a 16th like that. So now we've got it kind of set. But if we put a little bit of random to this as well, just a, a couple of bit, it's going to... You see, now we're kind of all over the place. Now we can change the attack and release of this, of the actual cycles. So now if we were to take, for example, if we turn up our patch we made a second ago, and we have that. We're actually going to, and now put this on top. In fact, I need to, what I'm going to do is come down to source. I'm going to make it so that this one doesn't play at the same. We're going to make it so that the volume comes up on this. So I'm just going to kind of settle this up a bit so that the filter of number 3, so filter of track 3 is basically always open. Okay, so that's our top layer. Now there's our middle layer. Okay, so we're getting somewhere. So now I'm going to bring up my bass layer, which so far has been sitting patiently waiting for me to get off my arse and get onto it. So we're going to move this up. We're going to move this bottom one down so that it only plays in the low. So we'll go to channel 1. So we're editing this one now. Let's go to loops, low ambient. Let's have a listen. Oh, we've got a bit of a bram. Okay, let's see if we can do something with the cycle on this one. So we'll turn on the cycle and we'll have one step, right? We're going to do it nice and easy. We'll turn these off. We'll have rate. So every bar it's going to start from the beginning. So you see, like now we've got, we'll just use it, like we could, if we wanted, just have one step, it makes it clear. Okay, so now let's put on our, and then we'll bring in. go to the filter of channel 1. Let's have it when it's down. Here we go. You hear the threat building. So now our filter's opening. Our enemy's getting closer. And we're back to... So this, remember, this has got a gate on it. See, so we've got this threatening thing at the bottom here now. Make it more threatening with saturation. So the higher it gets, the more distorted it's going to get. No, we don't want updates. Remind me tomorrow. Okay, middle layer again. Okay, so let's change this top one. So if you remember on this channel 3, we just had a high motif. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go to the clean one. Turn off the... Right, so let's pick like the high textures. You remember these bad boys? So let's get some of these bends. Okay, so let's load that in. So if you remember... So let's get this going. Oh, I love this. Set this down at low. Right, we're going to set this back up to, we're going to set it to 24 steps. Actually, no, we'll set it to 16 steps, right? We'll smooth it off a little bit. We're going to make a trill. Maybe it'll do it. Whatever, we'll program it ourselves. We're going to turn this back on. Okay, here we go. Okay, so here we built something pretty much from scratch there. So let's come back in. Let's change this low note. In fact, no, let's go to the clean low ensemble, the marcato. Now let's play it again. I'm going to turn off the, not the cycle, I'm going to turn off the macro so that I have control. So see, even if I just pull it down and leave it, so that's just going to play. So you see how this is just rolling? When I talk about vibe, this is what I mean. It's just this, it's holding it, but it's interesting. And I can put the cycle back on. All right? I can put this back on, but I'll decrease the range to something like this. So we've got a small range like this. So that's as loud as it's going to go. So that's going to keep just doing its thing. I'm not touching anything now. It's kind of just doing its own vibe. And I can just... So you see, like, the vibe is just, it's just rolling itself. Like, I'm not even doing anything, but the vibe maintains. See how that just keeps going? And then, like, if I want to come in and get involved again, like, the scene carries on. Like, I need it to be more intense. I don't even need to, I can keep playing piano. And like with the mouse. Anyway, so that's one we just built from scratch, okay? And you can see what I mean when I'm talking about vibe. That's all it is. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to do an extension of what I was doing earlier. So I'm just going to pick some rhythmic loops, like low motifs. So these are cool just to play by themselves. So let's just load that up. I don't even know what I'm doing here. So let's just load up. I'm going to do it, but not listen to what I do and see if we can come up with something cool. So mid motif. Because what I want to do is just show you a bit more of the cycle. So the cycle, like I mentioned, is kind of a way of triggering certain things, right? So let's say, for example, on the high, we're going to go violin section, but we're going to do just the spiccatos, because in the cycle, what we can do is actually turn the arpeggiator on. So we're going to have to change the start. We're going to have to turn that off and have that come to the beginning. And maybe not have it go so fast. Okay, let's put the arp on down. Okay, I've done something funky here. Oh, wait. Oh, that's why. I was in the wrong area. I was editing the wrong thing. So let's say we've got that, and we'll just randomize the start a little bit. So so now we have an arpeggiated string at the top. So that's going. So parallel moves. So let's go to the bottom here. There is the whole pattern select, so you can have like extra patterns. I don't use this too much, but essentially you can set it to follow up a chain so that number 1 goes to number 2, then goes to number 3. Have it go through like so. I never know how this. Oh yeah, I need to pull this across, don't I? So like now there's 3 bars. So now it's on pattern 2. And now it's on pattern 3. Right, so if I go to pattern 2 for the start time, and let's have this go dirt, 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 dirt. So that's going to be that. But what we'll do is, so now our rhythm doesn't just go dubba dubba, but dubba duh. And then we can go back to. So you see, we've created like an internal rhythm that goes between the two. I mean, you could, if you wanted to, just extend the amount of steps that are in one pattern and put that pattern afterwards. But, if you want to have it go between different patterns and whatnot, you can do that. And then you can change these numbers like this, so you can, I can have it do 2 twice. So you can set up different basic snapshots of how this works. So you see we've got something going on there. Okay. So we've got that re-triggering, but we're going to do this a lot more randomly. So that's for the start time, but we're going to make it random just by like 20%. So it's not exactly the same every time. Then we'll go to channel 1, and this is already doing its. Okay. So now if we just play like these two together, let's see what it sounds like. So this top one, you've got to remember, is actually doing because of the side, it's actually doing an arpeggio with a single note. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to change this. I'm going to change this high note to harmonics. In fact, no, col leg note. Okay. It's very quiet, so let's turn this up. Let's have it the start time mess around. So now we've still got the arpeggio on, except the arpeggio is getting its notes now. Instead of from being a spiccato, it's actually getting its notes from a sustained col leg note. So, we can change that to a different one of those techniques. So like the soupçon bends. So this is the note it's going to draw from. So what it's doing now is when I cycle it, you see it's going to. So every now and again, we'll get a slight bend. So this one in the middle is a rhythm. Let's take a quick look at what the middle one's doing. See that line? Now let's take a look at channel 1, which is. Let's turn this off so we have mod wheel control. So we've still got the high thing going on, so what we can do is come to the filter on our channel 3 and have it so that then when we go up, everything comes up together. So as you can see, vibe is the order of the day. So that's pretty much the string design. I'll do a couple more of the presets that they designed for you. So now you understand how it works, you know. We can come in and see how they built theirs. So channel one's, you know, so channel one's doing some. So to explain what this is doing, just so you're aware, so this step sequencer is the start time. So you can see they've started it midway through, like if this was at the beginning. Now, the reason that's happening is because this line that goes across the middle is 0. So if you go below it, it means it's going to go behind this line by that amount. If you go above, it's going to go above. And you see, because there's random there as well, that means that it's going to, you know, it's going to be slightly different every time. So it's going to go down, down, line, line, and then it's going to, that, you know, the line's going to slowly move up this way as they've done here. Let's put the start line in. So you see, as this goes up, this line moves further into the wave file. So that's a cool way. So all that sound is this. That's what it's all being drawn from. You know, we can change that. So let's try it with that instead. Take a little ways down. So you see, as that's kind of jolting around, it's moving further into the wave file. So like if we wanted like to, at the end, trigger a couple of the, you know, end of the sample, you know, we'll just drag these up like this. So now it should jump right to the end. So you see it moved all the way up to the end there. This has the follow chain. I usually just keep this on one pat. Okay, so that's how we're doing that. So, you know, we can just try one more. Let's try with that. So there's something I forgot to mention. Something I forgot to mention is there is actually a lot of extra. So other than for the sounds I was making a second ago, I was using the organic, just string loops and string sounds, right? That's nice and simple. But they also provide some processed sounds like these. Right, nice and cool. Dirty ones. So if I load something like that, and we can already tell that's got a load of distortion going on in it, I guarantee. Oh, I take it back. So where's that sound coming from? It's all crazy. Oh, it's distorting and I don't know how. Nice. It's doing something and I don't know how. How is it doing that? Oh, they're using this as a gate as well. That's cool. So somehow they're getting distortion onto that layer. Oh, unless. Let me have a look. Let me have a look at the source. Interesting. I'm going to have to try and figure out how they did that. God damn it, how did you do that? They have distortion on it without there being distortion, unless that's just... the way that sounds. Anyway, sneaky bastards. But FX and textures. So something like that. Now reload that. Oh no, it's not distorted. I think it's just where the sample was down there. So like you see here, like if I wanted that to also be the bass, like I wanted it to be double layered, and just move this out of the way if I didn't want that playing as well, and just move that up. So you see, different vibes. So you have to load them in. If you click auto, by the way, when you click something, it auto loads in. So if you want to go through quick. Let's do one with just synths. Let's see what happens. Synths, let's put this Pupil of Death. I don't even know what it sounds like. Cello. Let's change this up to Process Synth. Scooped Pulse. And that's crazy. So like that's one of the cool things. Like if you want to just feel, you know, if you feel like just experimenting. So channel 1, let's just go now like loops. Let's go with triplet. Let's see what happens. Triplet low motif. So that's loaded in. Channel 2, loops, triplet, mid motif, haunting. And then for the high one, loops, triplet, high motif. Get in there time. Oh, get there in time. God damn it. Okay, and now if we just... So you see how that's still in the same place? So we could put this more in where there's actual audio. If we're not liking it, let's just come down. So we're getting all these weird different textures just by changing out the sound. So let's go down. I'm still just in the dirty and distorted, god damn it. One thing I've noticed for some reason, the bottom, like the top works with the sustain pedal, right? The middle works with the sustain pedal, but the bottom doesn't. Why is that? We'll never know. Unless there's something like in the cycle, perhaps. What's different between these two? We will never know. We will never know why that is. Anyway, so let's do like one more like ambient, couple little ambient ones. See, look, the bass doesn't work with it. In options, you can control whether or not you want sustain to control the channel. Okay. God damn it. I didn't even know this was here. Thank you, Heavyocity, for joining the chat room. Okay, it does work. You see, I fuck up. It happens. That's why I do it live, so you know that I'm not being fake. Okay, now we work. now we can just go into like this solemn bit in the middle. And this actually turned down. We'll turn this macro because I need to have the filter on this channel 3. Let's see if we can maybe go down. Yeah. Oh, sorry. I got caught up in the vibe. Did you feel that though? Like just by having like a pad in the middle. Let's change it. Let's have a nice. And then having like a synth. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, okay. So let's move to the other part of the library, the loop designer. So this is something that we haven't looked at yet. So the loop designer is a little bit different. So the loop designer works like this. So if any of you remember the like the riser designer, things like that. So basically we have a set of loops. So these are banks of loops. So on the left, we have the low. So on the C, we have divergence. We have abduction on the C sharp, dark cycles. So so if you just want some, and I believe these are tempo synced. So if I set that to 130, how slow can they go? How slow can you go, Heavyocity? Okay, 60. Let's see if you handle that. Okay, so we start to break apart down there. But at 90. So once we get past there, we move into the middle section. So designer keys. So what we can do is we can actually set up our custom combination. So let's say we like So let's say, so on C1, we want that. We can select that one. So I think, yeah. And then in the middle, we want that. And then on the top layer, we want that. I can select that like that. Now if I push C1, it'll play those together. And let's say that for the next one, for C sharp, I want the bottom half to stay the same, but I just want the top. So I'll go to the next key and I'll choose the same loops here on the designer, but we'll change this high one to this like this. Except this one's starting in the middle. So let's move this. Right, so now I can go C, now C sharp, we can do things like that. And we also have like a tuning switch. So say, for example, at the minute they're all playing in the same key. They're all playing in C. So if I want to go up, so you have your tuning keys down here if I want it in F. Now, this way I'm not too keen on to particularly, because when you get up to the B, you can kind of hear what's happening. But let's say, for example, I wanted this. Now I can come here. Let's say we want in the middle, we want more low, but low ambient. Now, let's say we want that, so we'll choose that. And we want low, let's go mid ambient for the top. And I want that, and I want it to start at the beginning. This one starts at the beginning. Okay, so now We have two low. We have low motif and low ambient. So, oh, that's because I chose a triplet, didn't I? Sorry. Not reverse. Here we go. Straight mid, ambient, straight. Okay, and let's do what we were doing with the last one. So let's go to our gate, and let's have the middle layer, which is our ambient. Let's put on the gate, and we'll have the amount be where the mod wheel is. So now we can go. Let's also do the same with our high. We're going to have on and off, just 2 steps. We're going to have it go at 16ths. Let's change this. Yeah, I needed to re-trigger it. That was what was wrong. So now, here we go. So we got the loops playing. Now we can bring up the mod wheel. Feels slightly out of time. So we just added like a weird kind of, if we put this over 16. We'll put some delay in there as well. So we'll turn on the space. So now this is being controlled. So now, so this is just our highs being affected. Bring this all the way up. Now we've got all these delays. So let's come to our gate on the middle one and the amount. We're going to drag this down. So it's only a subtle gate. And we'll have it so that the highs go out when we pull the thing back. To do that, we'll go to the filter, turn that on, and we're only on channel 3. So now, when the filters, when this is all the way down, you won't hear the top. Oh, wait, it's on high pass. My bad. Here we go. So now, when we bring up the filter. So that's cool. So let's go down to the, so the same, there's master effects as well, by the way, that I forgot to mention. These don't seem to be controlled by the macro though. So they're just set and leave, you know, like if you wanted just a reverb over the whole thing. And of course we have our punish, which is like the compression. It's kind of like compression mixed with saturation, hard to explain. And then twist, which is more of a modulation type thing. Okay, so let's try changing this up a bit. Oh, and like now. So don't forget that because we have our designer set up, so if I change keys now, you're going to get a different combination, but those effects are going to maintain across. So you hear the high still there. bring this up. So we have all these crazy things because I've designed it. I'm going to turn that down a bit. So as you can see, instant vibe. And that was one of the main questions that people were asking me on Twitter, because I obviously got very excited when I started playing with this and realized the opportunities of using it. And when I say vibe, that is exactly what I mean. The ability to, just have something held and have all these effects happen, all these macros, all these controls, just from moving the mod wheel up. So when people, like, one of the biggest things I've seen about this library so far is the price. Now, to me, when it comes to price, I look at what I'm going to get and how much easier it's going to make my job. So right now I'm doing 2 projects which require hybrid trailer style music. Now I know that I can do a lot of that work with just this library, which means within 1 or 2 tracks, it's already made its worth back, but I still get to keep the library afterwards. So it's not, you have to think about buying libraries like this. If you're going to use them, it's a good investment. It's like buying a sample library is never a sunk cost. That's what people need to remember. It's not like going out and spending the same amount of money on a meal. You've eaten it and it's gone. That's the end of it. The money's gone. If you buy something that you use for work with the potential to earn money using it, it's called an investment, which is essentially saying you're not spending the money, you're offsetting it so that you can make it back with what you're buying. Okay? So while this is expensive, and the things it does can be done with other things, it makes what it does do so easy to do that it's going to make my job easier, which means I can do more of these hybrid type trailers, more of these hybrid type scores in a much shorter time, meaning I can make more money because I bought it, if that makes sense to you. So yes, at the end of the day, it totally comes down to, what your personal preference is, but you have to ask yourself, will I use it? Will I make money using it? If the answer is yes, it's worth the money, regardless of how much it is, because you will eventually make that money back by using it. That's called investment, people. So I'm just trying a few of the different presets here before we move on. So let's take a quick listen. So this is the low ambient. So this is just the... And of course, I've just been using the designer preset. So if you look at my keyboard down here, like in the bottom corner, I'll just make me a little bit bigger if I can. So if you look, like when I hit these bottom keys, sorry, I'm trying to arrange it. So you see, look, these are these keys down here, right? But let's say I want, so you can only select one per patch. So when I hit C1, it's going to trigger this patch. If I go to D, you see that D is set, but if I change this note here to this, when I push D again, it goes back. So that allows you to set up the custom loops, right? The custom organizations, the custom combinations of loops, right? But that doesn't mean you can't. So if you come up to like the C2 here, like an octave up, you can play, say you wanted to play this with this, with that one. I can just play those 2 notes together. At the same time, I can play 2 notes over here and 1 note up there. So as you can see, it's very, very powerful. As you can see, all these little red lines, I'll just explain that again for anybody curious. You see these little up and down arrows, you just move those, and that is the modulation. So you see when I move my mod wheel, they move, the bigger that is. So like this means that if I pull this is the pan of the middle one, if I put my mod wheel all the way up, it's going to pan all the way to the right. So if we set this all the way to the left and then all the way to the right, that means from the bottom it's on the left. So it means the more movement I make, the more I can move that around. You see that? Isn't that beautiful? And again, of course, you can add the macros like I was doing a second ago. So let's turn that one on there and then this one on. But then let's have the amount like it is now. You see where down here? So the amount is controlled. So this is the overall macro. So this is the percentage at which this dial will affect this amount. So if you have the amount set to like this, that means that it's only going to go up to there. Whereas if you have that there, you can pull out the insides. You see, it'll only go halfway, regardless of how far up I push the mod wheel. This modulation's only going to go halfway up. Same with all the others that are in the gate. So any control I have in here, see these ones are going from 0 to 100% because I've pulled the gate overall macro control down. That means I can only have these go halfway. So if we pull this all the way up, now it will go all the way. You see that? So now I've put those on, I can... You can move this. So there you go. That is essentially the library, the Novo Heavyocity modern strings library. There are a few other things here. It does have triplets. I didn't mention that. So. So if you're writing in a triplet style, they also have reverse styles, which is essentially the and again, if you wanted to, you can just mix the straight with the reversed. So if I wanted to. So now only the top, let's put high reverse. You see, like it says reverse triplet, reverse straight. So let's put the high high rhythmic, but in reverse. So you see, we've got like this. We've got things that are going in reverse and things that are going straight. So they're straight and now bringing the reverse. So you see, there's all these different types of sounds. My favorite thing of the whole thing by far is the string designer. The loop designer I'll definitely use when I'm not in a rush, but when, the deadlines are tight and I just need instant vibe. Like I can just throw a few of these loops together and get like a base with which to build on top of. The string designer will be fun for me because I'll get to make my own patches. I do wish that there was a way to import your own samples. I hope that's something that, they will look into doing in the future. But absolutely a complete, like this came out of left field. Like when I heard Heavyocity was doing strings, I was like, oh yeah. And like when I went through the traditional, like they are good. They're very well recorded. The basses I feel are a little weak, but the overall section sounds are good. And that's one of the other things, because you have all the abilities to add. So if I just get this going, just get that going on in the background. So now I bring on my strings here. So this is my violin section. If I, like, this library works best when you treat it like a synth string. So if I change this to envelope, there we go, and then throw a load of delay on it. Oh, what key are we in? Let's see. you see, like when you treat them together in the synthetic way that the library's designed, you get the instant vibe. Like that is what this library brings to the table. So, like I say, at first I was a little bit okay, let's see what it does, and then I played with the string designer, just completely blown away with how how creative I can get with that just by itself. Um, so yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this brief overview of Heavyocity's Novo strings. For the purpose of YouTube, I'm going to do a little outro here, but don't worry if you're on the live stream, we will hang about for questions afterwards. But if you're watching this on YouTube, thank you so much for, watching us today, watching me today and enjoying the library, and hope you enjoyed it. If not, sorry for wasting your time, but I'll see you in the next one.